could you make me wait this long?
Hello Epic 7, and welcome to my How to Do This Pay-to-Win event without Ocean Breeze Luluca. First, I want to take a minute to thank people for sending in their feedback. It's had a small impact with some compensation and a slight nerf to the event mechanics. In my opinion, it didn't address the core issue of requiring imprints, but many others are still expressing their concerns, so I encourage everyone to continue sending in more feedback, but be polite. Remember that the community managers are on our side, so please don't yell at or threaten them. This isn't their fault, and they have our backs. I, for one, am hopeful. Just like with pet snacks, this too will be resolved in a way that satisfies everybody, I'm sure. Now, as to the event, I want to clarify. Doing this event with Rowana is easier than doing this event with a no-imprint Ocean Breeze Luluca. In fact, Rowana and B-imprint Luluca are pretty similar in difficulty. This event doesn't really start to take off until A-imprint, so consider this when deciding whether or not to use that slate. I, for one, will be holding on to my slate for Lethe just in case this terrible mechanic is not removed by then, because speed set and torrent set farming is just too good. But enough about imprints, let's talk about how to complete this event. Now, as to options for this, I want to specify that this fight is very RNG based. Lethe has a dozen different ways to kill you, and she will kill you a lot. So when people ask me for alternative units, the answer is probably going to be get an A-imprint Luluca, but I will try to give you alternatives as I can. Our first unit is going to be Rowana, of course. She is required. If you don't have Rowana, you can't do this event. At least not without Luluca. I put her on HP boots. I try to stack her health up quite a bit, and you want to have her on Shamadra's staff for additional healing. Next, we're going to use an evasion team, basically, for the first team. So you want Fat Cat on the team. His artifact doesn't really matter that much. I put him on the squirt gun artifact to give the team a little more effectiveness to help stick breaks. I'm running the Great Mortelix in the night spot, mostly because he spams defense breaks. I use Rise of the Monarch to help give barriers and boost defense a little bit. Remember that Arius, Adamant, all damage share, all mitigations, escort, all that's turned off for this event. You can't reduce damage at all through night artifacts or otherwise. And our evasion unit, I'm going to run as close to 100% Remnant Violet as possible. If you have a max level Violet's Talisman, this will be easier for you because you can truly get to 100% evasion. Mine's only going to get me to about 94% evasion. Next team, I'm running Last Rider Crow in the night spot. I gave him enough effect resistance and the Bastion of Hope artifact that hopefully he's not going to get restricted as often so I can cycle his skills. Next, I'm running Lone Crescent Bologna. She's instrumental for this team. Her high damage, her ability to self-heal with lifesteal and with Sigurd's Scythe is just too good to not run in this fight. And in the last spot, I'm going to run Seaside Bologna. Seaside Bologna is here mostly for defense breaks and additional damage. I've got her on her S2E, her number 2 EE for extra damage, and I put her on Rosa Hargana for artifact. Make sure that you have your hunt pet, not your hunt pet, but your side story pet loaded so that you can get extra currency drop from the side story. Now at the start of the fight, there's a pretty good chance that Lethe will put her restrict debuff on Remnant Violet. If he doesn't dodge and takes that buff, I recommend restarting. You want to get the best chance possible for the extra attacks to miss on Violet and continue to cycle him so he gets more skills off. Fat Cat has got a defense break on his S3, we use that, and we use Mort's S3 to get his skills up and running. Violet can S3 into that defense break, and that is our first proc of Violet's Talisman, so our evasion is starting to climb. Once we get to 3 procs of Violet's Talisman, I'll be at about 94% evasion. You could be at 100% evasion if you have a max Violet Talisman. Now this attack right here, if she hard focuses Violet, he will probably die. Now fortunately mine uses his S3 because of it, and the lifesteal heals him up a little bit so he survives the hit. But that's the number one cause of failure, is that attack damaging Violet and then a follow-up AoE killing him.
can run.
That will be our second proc of Violet Talisman, so we're getting closer to our perfect evasion.
You may be worth my attention.
Don't burn Mort. Even though burn is a better chance at defense break, you want to save your burns for Remnant Violet. The nice thing about the burns is if you are unlucky and she does penetrate your 90 some odd plus evasion and get restrict on you, you'll be able to soul burn Rylet to cycle that off. Soul burning Rylet's what makes him just better in this fight than Green Violet, in my opinion. So I'm not going to soul burn because there's no defense break up yet. So I'm going to hold that for one more round. Man, the damage here would be fantastic if we had had that defense break up. Oh well.
Close to me. Such incompetence.
Another big hit into Mort. Fat Cat's S3 is ready, so we go ahead and go for the 2-turn defense break. And we got it. I don't think Rylet's going to lap in time, but we will try. Been nice if that dual attack had been with Rylet.
You test yourself against me?
Get out of my sight.
I will shape my own future.
Okay, so now we have a defense break up and soul burns, so we use the soul burns.
Fear.
One big hit. Another big hit. Activates his passive for a third hit.
Means nothing.
You can run. But you
We're
can't
getting pretty
hide.
close. Next round we'll have his S3 ready.
Dealing with you.
Ah, stop hitting
Just a
Rylet.
waste of my
I swear
time.
she targets him above all other units.
This is just the beginning.
Whew, barely survived that. The dual attack will probably kill Rylet. Oh wait, her barrier. I hope that barrier's enough. Ooh, close. That's why you want to have very high health on your Rowana. Her barriers get bigger the more health she has, so HP boots on Rowana better than
How long
speed.
do you think you can last?
Man, we were hurt bad. S3, heal up a bit.
Here.
You can run. But you can't hide.
Don't kill Rowana.
This world
Into his S3.
has no place for you.
You may be worth my attention.
Getting close. I'm going to resist the urge to soul burn this. Good, we got the defense break. Another dual attack with Fat
You can
Cat.
run. But you can't hide.
Show me your skills.
That was never gonna work.
So the RNG in this fight is very, very high. This is, I think, my 12th or 13th run with this team before we had success. But now we got the defense break, we have the souls, we soul burn Rylet into his S3. We don't even need to use the other soul burn.
You keep swarming.
His passive crosses the phase. We get one more look at this animation that we just have not seen very much lately, right? Everybody's stunned, and we move on to phase 2.
You can't hide.
Now, you thought the RNG in phase 1 was bad. Wait till you get a load of phase 2. So in this phase, we're relying on proccing her counterattack almost every single round, healing up and hoping she doesn't hard focus one of the Bologna twins. The
I'm well aware of what your plan.
AoE barrier spamming that we get from Crow is really nice. You'll notice because of his Bastion of Hope and high effect resistance, he's resisting the debuff or resisting the restrict, which is letting him constantly CR push to the front of the line.
Hide.
Lethe's counterattack is not a true counter, it's an extra attack, so it'll proc off of the Bologna's extra attacks. So when they attack, it can proc Lethe's attack, which can proc Bologna's attack, which can proc Lethe's attack, and you can get into a pretty good cycle where they just spam attacks back and forth, and you actually want that. It keeps you healthy and does great damage, especially if, like we have here, Bologna's got a defense break off. You start chipping the damage down quickly with that defense break.
Hide.
Counter, into a counter, into a counter, into a counter.
Momentarily.
And all the while we get barriers reprocking from Crow, makes him fantastic in this fight. And all of the extra hits make sure that Crow's motorcycle skill is ready pretty much every single time.
For ruining my vacation.
Now, where you'll run into problems is her ultimate, Lethe's ultimate, which will come up next round. If she targets one of the Bolognas, she can take them out. Now you can try to compensate for this a little bit by building up their bulk, but it's a precarious balance of trying to find the right amount of damage to clear it before Outrage happens, or Berserk happens, and the right amount of bulk to make sure you don't die. I think I've walked that line pretty good with this fight, but you'll have to find your own balance. Remember, the octopus attack penetrates defense, so HP way more important than defense. Good. Into Rowana, that's where we want it. We want that octopus to go into Rowana or Crow. They can take the hit a lot better than Bologna. You don't have to worry about Bologna's damage transfer into Crow because, as I said earlier, all damage transfer and damage mitigation effects are turned off. Bologna doesn't transfer damage, Escort doesn't work, Aureus and Adamant don't work, don't use any of those artifacts. Now you could burn Crow to cycle him faster, but because of the two Bolognas, we've got so many clapbacks that Crow's skills are always going to be ready. Nice dual attack, we take that. Down to about 25%, here comes the next octopus attack.
Such incompetence.
And luckily it's into Crow, he can take it.
Tricks won't work on you.
That was never gonna work.
Let's start with something light.
Proof of Valor will also not work, by the way. Neither will Sword of Azera. No mitigation artifacts work.
Get out of my sight.
I'm well aware of what you're
Okay,
planning.
we're below 25%, closing in on the win.
Back out now.
Everything looks pretty stable so far.
Bring it
Let's
on.
go. You can run, but you can't hide.
I won't go easy on you.
That was never gonna work.
Cheap tricks won't work
That defense
on you.
break's huge. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Dealing with you.
This is what we wanted to avoid.
Just a
She
waste of my
hit
time.
Bologna. Oh!
I'll show you how I
There
do
went my
it.
defense breaker. Crap.
Shall we bring this to a
Okay.
close?
I think we're close enough that Lone Crescent can still carry. It's gonna be really hard without that defense break, but I think we might be able to pull it off.
I won't run anymore.
If I S1, it could trigger a counter, and that's what I want.
I'll go.
We take the duel.
You
It
can
didn't
run,
counter.
but you can't hide.
You merely delay the inevitable.
Does this trigger a
Get out of
counter?
my
Good,
sight.
that'll heal us back up. So without
Let's
all of the
defy the
clapbacks
odds.
from Bologna, we're not
You
getting
could try
as
a
many
little
procs into Last Rider Crow, so I'm going to start considering using my soul burns on him. We've got a lot of souls too.
Is that all you had to show me?
Nice hit.
I'm well aware of what you're planning.
Man, we're just doing little tiny hits of damage without the defense break.
You keep swarming.
Octopus into Crow, he can take
You'll
it.
only prolong the pain.
I'll show you
So
how
I am
do
going to
this.
start burning this skill because I'm just worried it's not going to proc without the
All
burns.
systems online. Let's go, Siegfried.
And we're below
Get out of
5%.
my sight.
Cheap tricks won't work on you. Step back.
Go ahead and use the healing skill because the ultimate's coming up, and that'll give me some protection in case she decides to nuke Bologna with her ultimate skill here.
That was never gonna work.
The audacity of these scoundrels.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Oh no, except it got
You
stripped.
merely delay
Well,
the inevitable.
ain't that always the way? But we're real close. I think we got this. We're down to about
You could
2%.
try a little harder.
Run the motorcycle over her. Who needs horse when you have horsepower, am I right?
Get out of my sight.
Okay, Lethe's down to about 1% health, so we're looking good.
You'll never
Octopus
get close to
attack
me.
goes into
Such
who'd that hit?
incompetence.
Crow. Crow can take it.
I must be brave.
Dealing with
Wait
you.
a minute. No.
Why don't you
It's okay.
just
It's okay. She's dead, right?
Shall
She's
we
dead.
bring
She's
this to a
dead. She's
close?
dead. She's dead. Run her over with the motorcycle. Oh, crying out loud. And that is how, with a whole bucket full of luck and RNG on your side, you can beat Chapter 5 without an imprinted Luluca. And thank God I never have to do this ever again. Good luck to you guys out there. Keep pushing for them to fix this event, to fix the imprint system, and make this event accessible to people. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Don't forget to join my Discord, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to go have a drink.